Listen. So this year the self-titled Pandemmies happened, which are really just the Pandemmies.
Perfect.
Got it.
Perfect.
Got it. Okay.
And
wait.
bring Emmys live to some of the winning nominees in their homes.
They booted a lot of awards from the show, even though it was virtual and still 3 hours. They got a bunch of interns to deliver the statues like it was a 2319. And since everyone is still quarantined at home, they were able to break the record with the lowest views ever. So since they need it, let me explain.
You can't have a virus without a host.
For starters, thank the Lord we still have Jimmy hosting all these shows to make jokes about how more people should be included in hosting all these shows. He's the self-proclaimed most relatable show in late night because he's got normal people announcing the awards. He's complaining about spending time with your kids when you could be watching ads during his program. And whatever this is.
I wish I could kiss you guys too.
No, we don't want that. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
In terms of the show, it was not good. They now stream them over on Hulu, but even then, I would still give it a coaster rating. I don't get how every year they keep losing viewers, but don't try to do anything different. Last year, they didn't have a host. This year, they glitched more than the movie host. They always set up the corniest skits for actors to perform during a broadcast that's supposed to be honoring their acting.
I said thanks, Jimmy.
What?
Never mind.
Safe to say, the Emmys would never win an Emmy. But besides the show being nowhere as good or funny and showcasing how I think people care less and less about them, let's talk about the shows. Now, with it being virtual, it is completely different to, announce a winner who would usually have the time to be in shock, kiss their partners, walk up the stairs, breathe. Now it just zooms in on them for a reaction instantly.
Wow.
In terms of the awards, it was cool to see Peggy win an Emmy the same night her father did for This Is Us. Quibi won an Emmy, so if they pawn it, they'll probably finally make a profit. And Dave Chappelle won another 3 for his special.
I hope all you critics learn from this. This is a teachable moment. Shut the fuck up forever.
In terms of the comedy categories, I think it's hilarious that they kept stroking Modern Family for years. Like, they just monopolized the show in that category, not giving any others a chance. Then they didn't even get a nom for its final season. Meanwhile, Schitt's has been on for 5 seasons. They barely acknowledged it. And now that it's completely wrapped, they finally do. Personally, Insecure and Curb were my top picks, but Schitt's Creek pulled a Billie Eilish. It won all 4 acting categories: writing, directing, best comedy. In 72 years, this was the first show to ever do that. And I think it's a great show. A bunch of you had recommended it on our last LME Listens video in the fundraiser one, and it does get better with each season. I do love the real-life father-son duo. It has killer one-liners, but that many?
Okay, the internet's about to turn on me. I'm so sorry.
There's been rumors that they're looking to make a movie, so I suppose this buzz will help them pop, but I just always assumed that the envelopes would be sealed for reveals like this, but it almost seems like half of the bits in the show revolved around them knowing that the show would sweep.
For every Emmy we hand out tonight, the show that wins it will donate $100,000 to a great charity that feeds children who need it, No Kid Hungry. Our mission tonight is to bankrupt Pop TV. This is going to be fun. The Canadians have won all the Emmys tonight. If they'd won one more Emmy, they would have been able to trade them in for this, a Stanley Cup.
That said, Daniel did shout out Insecure, and Issa and Yvonne killed it in this last season, to the point that even the president was tweeting about it. Rick and Morty beat BoJack out for Best Animated Program, and every other presenter by saving on mouth animation with their masks. Tyler got honored, and we have a whole video about that. Zendaya became the youngest to ever win an Emmy for Best Lead. Dark Crystal and We Are the Dream both tied for an award, where there was only 3 nominees, which I always find funny because it's just so bogus to not also include the third one, but the third one was Star Wars. So SNL stole a Black Lady Sketch Show award, while the Emmys stole their entire speech, since they removed that category from the broadcast completely. But they did keep the late night one, which went to John Oliver again. And post-pandemic, I'd say he's done the best job. I've always liked HBO because they post their entire segments up on YouTube, and I feel like they understand the power of the internet and how it gets the word out there a little bit better, because the broadcast was always pitching the idea that if you're on the internet, if you got a web series, you need a break into Hollywood. You need the industry because it's the end-all be-all. I personally believe you can be on Team Internet and still make great stuff that intertwines with the industry without having to work for that bigger studio or a corporation or producers who really just want to profit off of you. They want the narrative to be that you need them. because really, they just want their cut. Even from the critic and press standpoint, it feels more and more like a monopoly of access that's only given to those who are willing to adapt to what the money machine wants them to do, and they despise not having control. I can see why they hate the internet and how much reach it's given normal people who don't need big budgets to reach huge audiences. That's why I think TikTok murdered Quibi. In terms of limited series, I thought it was a pretty good batch. But of course, Watchmen was going to win. Easily, it was the biggest one. And I really do like the show. Having read the comic and it being inspired by it, it is nowhere near as a masterpiece as that was. But it's a very good limited series, which Lindelof, if you followed him in the making of it, has always shouted out the writer's room, because a lot of the stuff that people like, he mentioned in the podcast for it, that it really came from them. Like, this man himself was going through a history lesson during production. Regina King obviously also won for Watchmen and now has 4 Emmys, an Oscar, a Globe, and an upcoming directorial debut. And she directed a great episode of Insecure. I really wanted Giovanna Deppel to win, though, because while it was cool to see 3 of the guys from Watchmen get nods, and 2 who even played the same man, what Deppel did in that flashback episode, it was fantastic. It was a waltz with Regina. But yeah, congrats to Yaya, because he did great too, and my man put it all out there. Congrats to Uzo Aduba for Mrs. America, and Unorthodox for its directing, 2 shows that I'm hoping I can make full Emmys on, and then Bad Education, which it won for Best TV Movie. It's just, I feel like that's such a lame title to label it, literally just because it didn't qualify because of streaming rules, but hey, at least I could say it has the gold for Best Picture on TV. I still think Hugh Jackman's performance is one of the best of the year, and I was bummed that he didn't win, but damn, I can't hate Mark Ruffalo. Like, he's a real-life Avenger on screen and off. I Know This Much Is True is an incredible miniseries. It comes from Derek Cianfrance, who should have gotten nominated. But if I'm comparing the performances, honestly, Mark did have like 6-hour episodes compared to the one feature that Hugh had. And there was also 2 of him. The Last Dance dunked on Tiger King for Best Doc. Zendaya won for Euphoria. Cheer would have gotten more cheers if it had won a couple months ago. And Mr. Robot won its 3rd Emmy for its ARG and how interactive its marketing was outside of the show. Because I guess the show wasn't good enough since they chose Stranger Things instead. Congrats to Zendaya. Watch Euphoria. And congrats to Julia Garner, who doubled up for Ozark, winning 2 years in a row for her performance. And if you haven't seen the festival favorite from earlier on this year, The Assistant, I would highly recommend it. Jeremy Strong finally upped his pop-pop, winning Best Lead. And Succession also won the award for writing and directing, with the team being up at 4 a.m. since they were Skyping in from England. And then when they won the big one, they went all out, called out all the prime channels, and just straight up unthank you to everyone.
Thank you to all the nationalist and sort of quasi-nationalist governments in the world who are exactly the opposite of what we need right now. And thank you to the media moguls who do so much to keep them in power. So thank you.
Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts out there. You know, now that we have all of these streaming services, from like even Facebook Watch had something, Snapchat, honestly, they're making productions for TikTok now. We know YouTube's at it. There is so many outlets to make media, to make your show, to make your content. I'm curious to know what stood out to you. Like, even if it doesn't get an Emmy, what from the past year do you think it needs more recognition? What that is on a big broadcast or streaming service do you think should have gotten more recognition, that deserves it? Name me all your shows down below in the comment section. I still think that while the presentation itself, it's just been getting worse and worse in terms of the broadcast, I do think that they always at least have a good batch of winners that they recognize and the nominations. But the one big snub that I did have this year was Merritt Wever. Merritt Wever deserved to be nominated for Unbelievable. And it's unbelievable they didn't give it to her. But another thing that I really do like about these broadcasts, because I'm always on YouTube Premium, I really don't deal with ads. I will pay for no ads. I'll get that fast pass. But the thing is that every time I watch a Super Bowl or one of these live shows, I get to see the ads for the first time, and oh my God, is the programming terrible. But I do love the mashups that they do for the streaming services, because it's practically the Super Bowl for streaming services when they have these award shows. And I like how they pitch their content with these mashup trailers. And I will say, while everyone was really hyped up for the Disney Plus stuff, yo, I think I'm getting Showtime. Like, that Cranston trailer looked fantastic. You already know he has it in the bag. And I just really liked how they shouted out the artist who they have on that. I haven't caught up on a lot of Showtime shows, so that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to, because that's the one channel, like one big channel that I don't have. I will be making a video on Shudder soon, because I'm working on that. Just got that service. I also got Peacock. I also got a couple of the other ones that I'll be making videos for, as well as festival stuff from Fantasia. Now that more trailers are finally out, a full LME. We did one on Intercup, but a full LME on the Sundance must-watches, and just a bunch of other lists that we want to get towards the end of the year here. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know what shows you recommend in binging. And until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and stream Insecure.
I want to dedicate this Emmy to all the kids whose names, like mine, are difficult to pronounce. To those who don't look like their classmates and are defined as outsiders, as hyphenated Americans, and not simply just as Americans. This is proof that you belong, and this Emmy is ours.